All right, let's check this problem out. I need you to write it down and pause the video and go ahead and go write it and come back. Alrighty, let's get started. So let's go ahead and cube this. All right. So it says Ben has collected baseball cards for a long time. Make sure you're reading this out loud with me. And needs to store them in boxes on his 2 shelves. He can fit 128 cards in each box, and 7 boxes fit on each shelf. How many cards can Ben store this way? Okay. So let's go ahead and circle all our key numbers we see. What's the first key number you see? If you said 128, that is a key number, but that's not the first one. Do you see the first one? 2, right? I want you to be careful of that because in a lot of problems, numbers under 10 will be spelled out rather than written like this, okay? So just be wary of that. And then the other one is 7. Check. Now we need to know what the question is. What is the question asking us? And we need to underline it. So the question is, how many cards can he store this way? All right. So now we need to box our math action words. I see each box, right? Each. And each again. And it says, how many cards can you store? So really, each is the only math action word that I see. I don't really see, well, been collecting baseball cards for a long time. That's not really relevant. We can eliminate that. Okay. So check. Now, I don't remember if you remember, or I don't know if you remember me telling you this, but each, each means multiply or divide. And you know which one it's talking about depending on where each is. Usually, when each is in the question, we're dividing. When each is in the problem, we are multiplying. Okay, usually. So let's go ahead and write down important information. So we can know that we can fit 128 cards in each box, right? We know that there are 7 boxes on each shelf. And we know that there are 2 shelves. Right? So I think that's pretty much all the important information that I see. I see that I included my math action words that I boxed. I included all the key numbers that I circled. So I should be good, but you need to double check that whenever you're doing these on your own. So what do I need to find? I need to find how many cards he can store this way. So all together, right? How many cards can he store all together? So I need to find how many cards he can store all together. Because remember, we're not writing it in question form. I saw a lot of you doing that today. We're writing it in a statement. I need to find blank. That way I can go back and say, did I find blank? Okay? All right, let's do our strip diagram. All right, do I have a hole in this problem? Do I have a hole? Do I have a hole? I want you to think about it. So we're talking about baseball cards here, right? Do I have the whole number of baseball cards? No, I don't, right? That's what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find how many he can store all together. Usually if you see, I mean, you won't always see this whenever you have the hole in the problem, but it'll say total or altogether or in all. It'll say words like that with the number. So in all, there were this many baseball cards, but we don't see that. So that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to say that that is B for baseball cards. Okay? So we know that we have how many shelves going on here? 2. So I'm going to split this in half. Okay? And we know that on each of these 2 shelves, so these represent my 2 shelves, right? On each of those 2 shelves, I have 7 boxes. So I'm going to separate this into 7. So 7 boxes on that shelf, and 7 boxes on this shelf. Okay? How many cards can go in each box? Do you see how I'm doing this? I'm almost making a visual for myself. I'm saying, okay, here's my 2 shelves. Here's a shelf and here's a shelf. Right? On each of those shelves, there's 7 boxes. That's what each of those slots represents. 7 boxes, right? In each of those boxes, there's how many cards? 128. So we've got 128, 128, 128, 128, and so forth and so on. Okay, just like that. So I know that there are 128 on each box on that shelf, each of those 7 boxes. There's 128 cards in each box on that shelf too. Okay, so now I just need to write my equation. All right, so the easiest way to do this probably is to find out how many cards I can fit on each shelf first, and then I'll find out how many I can do on the 2 shelves together. So here's how I would recommend doing it. So we need to, rather than just adding all of these though, what else could we do? Could we multiply, maybe? Multiply 128 times however many boxes there are. How many boxes are right here? 7, right, on this shelf. 128 times 7, okay? And whatever that number is, well, if it's the same thing over here, I'm just going to double it, right? So doubling it means times 2. So whatever I get here, remember in the parentheses is usually what you need to do first to get an answer. Once you get that answer, then you can do whatever else they're asking you to do, which is multiply by 2. And once I do that, I will figure out B, which is how many baseball cards there are in all. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's come down here. Let's solve in blue. Let's do green. Okay, let's do 128 times 7. What's 8 times 7? 8 times 7, make a T-chart if you need to, pause the video if you need to. 8 times 7 is 56. 6 goes down, 5 goes up. Okay, now we need to do 2 times 7. What is 2 times 7? 14. Does the 14 go down here? No, not yet. I got to add the 14 to this guy up here, this number 5. So what's 5 plus 14? 19. 9 goes down, 1 goes up. Cross that out. And lastly, multiply 1 times 7, which is 7. Add it to that 1, and we get 8. So on one shelf, I know that I can do 896 baseball cards, right? But that's just one shelf. I'm not done yet. So this up here is 896. So once I got that answer, what did they want me to do? Multiply it by 2 to get B, right? So now let's do 896 times 2. What is 6 times 2? 6 times 2 is 12. So circle, 2 goes down, 1 comes up. All right, next is 9 times 2. What is 9 times 2? 9 times 2 is 18, plus the 1 up there, don't forget about him, is 19. Okay, 8 times 2 is 16, plus 1 is 17. So, I got 1,792. 1,792 what? Baseball cards. You can't forget your label. Without a label, your number is meaningless, right? So I would say something like using this storage, Ben can store 1,792 baseball cards. Okay. That looks good. I'm going to give you a few long division and multiplication problems to do for homework tonight because I think we need to work on that a little bit. All right. So I will see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.